Static hearts, but the signal's clear. Every chord was a lifeline and calling out to us again. We were sparks against the dark, every lyric lit a mark. Still I feel it, still it stays, calling through the static haze. Distant signals in the sky tonight. Every heartbeat screaming back in time. We were reckless, we were never blind. The fire we lit will never die. Every night was a crowded show, flooded lights in the undertow. Every face was a mirrored flame, every voice still calls my name. We were sparks against the dark, every lyric lit a mark. Still I feel it, still it stays, calling through the static haze. Distant signals in the sky tonight. Every heartbeat screaming back in time. We were reckless, we were never blind. The fire we lit will never die. Static fades, but the sound remains. Every song still runs in our veins. We'll never fade, we'll never fold. These echoes never get old. Distant signals in the sky tonight. Every heartbeat breaking free from the weight of time. Every orbit pulls us high. We were made to cross the line. We were made to cross the line. Another night we can't explain. Cover stories, different names. Signals fade into the skies, running wild under starlit lines. We're not the saints they thought we'd be. We're chasing ghosts they'll never see.
Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-da-da, da-dum. Hello everybody, welcome to Lazy Mini Painting. I am Laz and I am bloody well late, I know, I'm sorry. Lone Star, wow, now there is a name I have not seen for ages. How you doing, bud? How you doing, man? Funnily enough, the reason I'm late is a couple of friends over on your side. I've tried to group. We're trying to arrange them getting over here in time for my wedding. Nothing, thank you. I might even do some walkie singing. I might. It really depends. Well, not now, because I'm not as wired up as I was this morning. Obviously, this morning was a bit of a frantic one. Voices came out, things started getting chatted about, and all sorts of stuff happened. So this morning was a bit of a weird one. However, tonight is just reading. He's reading stories. It's story time with Laz. Well, yeah, and about war mostly. Do I need to? Yeah, I need to stop that. Otherwise, that is going to be here in the background, and we don't want that much. We don't want the music to be going on in the background. So where shall we start? I've been good in all fairness, Lone Star. I've been, well, I say I've been good. I'm alive. I'm still here. So that's good. I'm classing that as a win, in fairness. I am classing that as a win. I mean, what? I mean, you were like one of my first you're on portrait mode now, so you should still have moderator privileges. But you were like one of my first moderators, dude. Wow. If anyone's wondering why I'm getting a little bit nostalgic over this, is Lone Star was like here from day one and kind of disappeared a little bit to go do his own stuff, and is now just popped back in completely unexpected. But I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How's yours going? Because I know you're still doing your football streams and a few others as well. Have you started NASCAR as well now? Good evening, Graham. Oi, oi, mate. Oi, oi. Yeah, this is getting a bit. Yeah, we've got to talk, man. We've got to talk. You got no idea what's going to be going on now. Things are starting to move a bit. And I found out I've got very little control over how much this is moving. Very little control. It's been a while, hasn't it, Joey? It's been a while. In fact, if anyone wants to know why I'm late, it's you can blame Joey at Square Table Degenerates and the Eclectic Beard as well, because they're the reason I'm late, because I was talking to them. Pretty much a continuation from the conversation we was having this morning. So let's get that out of the way. Real life put to one side for a minute. Let's go full fantasy. Well, full immersion into this. And then EB, speak of the devil. There you are, man. How you doing? It's a shame I only have one collaboration spot. Otherwise, I'd ask you to come up. In fact, in this case, I might even considering if Lone Star wishes to come up, he can do. You're finally off work, Joey. Yeah, holidays time is always good. Well, I mean, I'm always off work, but that's because I'm a bit fucking not right. And I can swear because it's 10 minutes in because I was late, and Sparkles was kind enough to set it going with the Be Right Back screen and some music. She's so good to me. So should we start the reading? I think we should. No worries, EB, just passing through. Wifey needs to be checked on. Probably getting about tea time. Well, meal time. So don't worry about that. I have realised I've forgotten my glasses, but I can still read without them to a degree. So we shall see now. We shall see how well this goes. So, story time with lads. Little black box up here first as a little section. To pilot a Chaos Knight is to fuse one's body with machine for eternity. That doesn't sound too pleasant to me, but they seem to want to do it. And as I said, this is getting taken out. Some of this is getting taken out of my hands now, and they're now planning to their own trip over for my wedding. And I've just realised the complete... Yeah, you've sidetracked me already, both of you. All of you. I mean, Lone Star turning up's just put me on a not expected. It's a good thing, don't worry. I'm not complaining, it's just put me on a little bit off foot because I weren't expecting of all names to show up because you've not been in for a while with yours. And now Joey and EB have started on that one and that conversation, so that should be fun. Right, yeah, Lone Star, I have two. I have a portrait mode and I have a landscape mode running. So EB and Joey are over in the landscape mode and you're currently on the portrait mode. I have both going for people that are on phones and people that are on PC. Right, what was I going to say? I've lost track of thought already. I've read one little black box thing and I've completely lost track of thought of what I'm supposed to be doing. And Lone Star isn't... Why is Lone Star... No, that's not right. Why has Lone Star not got his tool? View my channel. Go to my stream. Go find Lone Star. Right. Lone Star should have been a moderator. There we go. You've got your tool back, Chad. You got your tool back. Landscape gang. Woo. Sorry. Yeah. I know. That's why it took me by surprise as well, Joey. It's just like, what? What? Is that the right one? I had to double check then because yeah. It took me completely by surprise. So yeah, my talking has been a lot about Joey and EB coming over for my wedding. And that's what I've been talking about for the last hour. And I found out adding those two particular people to one Facebook group chat is quite possibly the worst idea I had and the best idea I had. Problem is, all I can hear is every time because both of them just type out a million miles an hour and get essays, and I can only type out 4 words in that time. But yeah, that's why I'm late. Right, let's start, shall we? Whew. Knights of Ruination. With twisted oaths of honour upon their lips, fallen nobles and wretched scions ride into battle from within cursed, warp-wrecked steeds known as Chaos Knights. These fell machines are haunted by the spirits of their former scions, and to pilot one is to accept an agonizing, lifelong fusion with the very machine itself. Rip, crunch, tear the unworthy. The disembodied snarls of ancient heretic nobles resonated deep within the synapses of Lady Marin Kethis' mind. as the neural jacks upon her skull interfaced with the infernal workings of her chaos knight. Rend the mortal flesh and sunder their armour, lest you drink deep of consequences. Warpack, prepare for combat drop, Kethis Fox hailed to her fellow Scions. We leave none alive. Beside her were 4 vicious war dog walkers, stamping and growling in their eagerness for battle. At her words, each one unleashed a voracious howl that filled the hulls of the World Eater's vessel that had transported them here. The warlord's I can't even pronounce that word. That is just Abominacious had embarked upon a bloody assault on the industrial world beneath them, and the warband had entreated Kethis to join them in the slaughter. The tension prior to the hunt always filled her with an unspeakable bloodlust, and the night rampager she piloted stirred relentlessly in the confines of the drop casket that would soon speed them both into battle. Soon, slaughter beast. She spoke softly to the machine, as if to placate its violent impulses. We will reap a fine tally this day. Pistons hissed and gargantuan bulkheads opened, and the drop caskets thundered towards the planet's surface, tearing through the blanket of smog and smoke that concealed their arrival. She and her hounds would soon join the battle. As the drop caskets broke through the firmament, and the field of battle rushed towards them at dizzying speed, below, the battle raged like wildfire. Deafening artillery scarred the earth with heavy shells, and miles of trenches snaked across the world's surface. The soldiers of the Astra Militarum packed each of the fortifications to the brim, lasfire raining down on encroaching heretics. Fighting alongside the humans were the vainglorious Ultramarines, who were charged to meet the World Eaters in vicious melee. The field is rich, Kethis hissed to her retinue over the Voxling. Let us hunt. The very ground itself trembled as the diabolical war machines made impact on the scar-ragged battlefield. The Imperial forces, not immediately turned into red mist in the wake of the landing, were thrown violently into the dirt and buried beneath it. To Kethis' left stood Agriath and Haleth, piloting Malignance and Clawbane. To her right were Giantis and Veren, piloting Profanis and Malevolence. Around them, Khornite warriors surged forward into the Imperium's defensive formations. Chainblades locked in bitter combat. A storm of bolter and lasfire converged on the newly arrived knights, and as they roared in defiance as they charged into the fray. Before Kethis cowered Cadian soldiers, terror filling their eyes as they attempted to scramble back to their trench. With a swipe of a warp strike claw, they were quickly erased in a red smear, their screams snuffed in an instant. Knights, forward! Kethis barked. She was soon answered by the sound of heavy treads and the whine of chain cannons spinning up. Malignance and Malevolence relished the order, their heavy chain cannons filling the air with a punishing hail of heavy munitions. Before them, scores of Cadians were shredded, whole platoons falling like wheat before a scythe. Gurgling, distorted laughter choked across the local Vox network as the spirits within their fell machines howled with sickening delight. Clawbane and Profanis had broken ranks upon the order, charging forward into the first of many trenches that lay before them. Their talon-like feet crushed the trench walls with ease. Profanis slung a slaughter claw into the trench walls, impaling two humans upon razor-sharp talons. Bolt of fire thudded off armoured shell of clawbite, and the beast turned with unerring speed to meet it. Ahead, 5 Ultramarines charged towards the trench, their chain blades whining as they fired upon the knight with heavy bolt pistols. The Reaper chain talon mounted upon Clawbite's arm spun with a bestial growl of its own, and Clawbite swung it to meet the oncoming Space Marines. Its blood-stained teeth bit deep into ceramite, and the sparks flew before giving way to arcs of crimson blood. Ahead of the pack, Imperial armour approached. Slaughterbeast strode forward to meet them, crushing several warriors locked in bloody melee before them. Heavy plasma fire from an armoured sentinel sent shudders through the night, scouring its armour. The damage was superficial, but she would avenge the insult nonetheless. Slaughterbeast reached out with a claw and grasped the sentinel's frame, the immense force buckling the machine's armour easily. The knight swung its Reaper chainsaw around in a huge arc and into the armour of the sentinel's cockpit. The blade's teeth and the Imperial armour burned white hot for a moment before the blade sliced through completely. Kethis had only an instant to savour the screams of the pilot before another sound cut across them, a deep, mechanical voice bellowing across the field. "Face me, heretic! This world will be your tomb." Slaughterbound turned his gaze to meet the challenger. Adorned with the blue of hateful Ultramarines, a Redemptor dreadnought stood before her, its weapon poised in readiness. "A challenge must be met. Accept." Kethis' mind jolted in agony as the voice spoke. "Uphold our honour, lest you drink deep of consequence." Kethis spurred her knight forward in response, swinging Slaughterbeast's chained weapon around to strike. The loyalist war machine dodged her attack with surprising agility. Her weapon buried itself into the earth where it had just been standing. Cursing, she fought to free the chain blade as its spinning teeth churned the ground below. The dreadnought unleashed a gout of fire from its heavy flamer, engulfing Slaughterbeast in flame. The ancient Geist shrieked in outrage, and Kethis finally wrenched the chain weapon free. The momentum of the action carried the blade in a wild, swinging arc. He struck a blow against the dreadnought's armour plating, sending the machine reeling backwards. Even though it fought to regain its footing, the Astartes war machine unleashed a hissing salvo of Icarus rockets, each connecting with Slaughterbeast's armoured chestplate in a fiery configuration. Buffeted by each blow, the knight staggered back across the battlefield, and Kethis snarled. The heavy stubbers upon Slaughterbeast's shoulders opened fire in retaliation, punching holes in the thick plumes of smoke enveloping the night. "Cut the Astartes down, Scion. You will honour your oath." The chorus grew relentless in Kethis' afflicted mind, and Kethis' afflicted mind burned. Slaughterbeast charged through the gloom, claws outstretched and grasping for the enemy. Its talons met the armoured plate of the dreadnought, biting deep, and the knight howled with relish. Kethis lifted the machine from the earth, screaming with effort, and slammed it back down in a crash of buckling metal. "Yes, yes, crush the unworthy." The frenzied voices trapped within Slaughterbeast rose to a crescendo, and Kethis' mind pulsed with the thrill of the slaughter. Even as cables snapped and sparks flew from its crumpling form, the dreadnought struck out with its power fist and fired wildly with its flamer. Kethis' cracked lips peeled back in a cruel smile. She could taste victory. Just as Slaughter Beast's warp-strike claw breached the dreadnought sarcophagus, the voice of the Astartes within spoke out defiantly once more. This world will be your tomb. With its final ounce of strength, it raised its arm to bury the barrel of its macroplasma incinerator below the cockpit of Kethis' machine, and fired. The superheated plasma punched a hole straight through Slaughterbeast's chest. The machine beast shrieked, reeling backwards from the fallen dreadnought. Kethis howled as the feedback from the blow flooded her mind. Her steed collapsed to one knee, and her screams were joined by the chorus of the ancient Geists. Some wailed in grief, others in pain, but all in fury. You have failed, Sihon. You dishonor your noble house. You have failed your ancient line. Jolts of pain shot through Kethis' body as the neural jacks in her skull and spine violently disconnected. Her throne mechanism was failing. No, it was rejecting her. Her body contorted and twisted, bones snapping and flesh tearing. She screamed until the last of her breath left her in a rattling wheeze. The last thing she heard, her synapses racked with torment, was the judgment of Slaughterbeast's former masters. Drink deep of consequence, Scion. You are unworthy of your steed. Chaos Knights ain't nice things, are they? That's like a big possessed titan that's got a real complex going on. But that is the story of the night. I've got a feeling we've read that story before, or at least a story similar to it. Am I on 73? And not 74? I'm on 73. That story's already been read. I think I did that last week. We're supposed to be doing this one today, aren't we? Oh well, a bit of a recap, didn't mind. So what happens after we finish painting all the guardsmen? Because I've just started the wrong issue. Aha! This story. Ooh, another story. Take all the painting guide off. Don't need that till I'm painting all 60 odd of them. So what else have we got in here then? Because this is not what I was expecting. We have the campaign. We have data sheet. And we have... oh, we have this story. Good evening, Lee. Good evening. Hope everyone's having a good time. I've just read a story that I read last week. Abominatus. Yeah, pretty much they are not nice creatures, are they? They are big, nasty buggers. Hey up, buzzers. How you doing, mate? Thank you for coming in to join us. So now I'm actually going to start on the real story that I should have started tonight. As I said, I got thrown off course pretty much immediately as I came on to stream. I was late because of talking with Joey and EB regarding later on this year, and then Lone Stars Lounge popped in, which oh, Ali's not here, is she? Ali's not here. I've got to do this myself. Show my full list of subscribed things, please. And okay, there we are. So in case anyone's wondering who Lone Star is, I'm gonna do what normally Ali would do for me, but Ali's tired and been working all day, so we'll let her off. If you do wish to go check out Lone Star, there is his channel. if you're interested in American football or American car racing, please go check him out. In fact, while I'm at it, I might as well go do the rest of them, ain't I? Nope. Wrong thing. Absolute moron. So before I actually start the official story tonight, I'm going to be going through a few things and grabbing a couple of links for the people that I know have channels. I'm popping those links into chat while I'm at it, because I do keep forgetting, and Ali's too good at this. So for me to keep up is definite little bit of a pain in the rear end. And we are. I don't. Right, EB. I don't know which. Right, I'm gonna put that one up. I'll put that one up, just because it's your main channel. I don't know all the other channels. So just a quick one. There's some of the people that also are in this stream. If you wish to go check them out at your own discretion. And then we shall keep it from there. So, Throne of Ashes. Ooh, this one's so this was not the night person. I thought I'd read that story before, but I'd started, so I finished. So now we have Throne of Ashes. On Nova Astran 7, Baron Cutler has spent many years hiding from plague in his decaying palace. His brother has usurped his position, and the planet has fallen behind in its tide. But at last, it seems salvation has arrived in the form of the Inquisition. Nobody expects the Inquisition. Sorry, bad joke there. A cold light penetrated the corridor, illuminating the crumbling plasterwork. The gilding had peeled off long ago, and the remaining paint had faded into blocky colours, looking not so much like the fine art of a palace as a mural painted by a child on their playroom wall. Amid a faint swirl of dust, Baron Cutler strode down the corridor, his eldest son, a slim boy of 18, in his wake. You will not speak to him, Cutler barked. I will instruct him of our peril, and he will have the strength to venture outside and miss the plague to bring down his wrath on those who challenge us. Soon my brother will kneel before me and accept his rightful place. Jace trotted to keep up with his father. Will Uncle Jax come back here? He asked. He will be brought back here, corrected his father. Our desperate hails have been answered, and by his grace, the God Emperor has sent me a champion. My name shall live on, and when you have a son, you too will see that your reign only holds its meaning when you can pass it on to your line. That is why we rule. But what about the people? Asked Jace in surprise. We do not rule for them. Or do we not rule for them? Baron Cutler stopped abruptly. The people? He asked, and a mocking tone entered his words. Too long have I entrusted your education to others. When did we last speak? Almost 4 months back, father, Jace said, when you appointed Master Rhinax. And what foolish ideas your tutor has been filling your head with, Cutler said in annoyance. As he began striding forward again. The people serve us. Cutler rounded a final bend and made for his study, Jace still trotting on behind him. Though thoughts of his books filtered through his mind, he was wondering which one he should allow himself to be discovered casually perusing when their guest arrived. A challenging question, since he had never read any of them. Perhaps he should be found poring over some intricate map, something that would indicate his sophistication and elevated intellect. He was, therefore, extremely put out to find that his guest had already arrived, installed himself in Baron Cutler's chair behind the desk, and was flicking through a book at high speed, clearly not reading it, just bending the back of the pages and letting them flick open one by one in front of him. With a great flourish, he held the book out at arm's length, dropped it onto a pile of already discarded books, and picked up the next one. I see you've found your way in, stuttered Cutler, surprised at how cowed he felt in his own office. The man behind the desk gave no signs of having heard him, but stirring in the corners of the room alerted Cutler to the presence of others. They were dressed like the man in the chair, but somehow less impressive. Where he wore plate armour and a delicate cloak over rich clothes adorned with seals and talismans, they wore simpler armour over black plain leather. Won't you all? Cutler's voice trailed off. Where were the palace guards? Who is that with you? Asked the man in the chair, still not looking directly at Cutler. My son, said Cutler after a pause. Then let me instruct your son in the duties of an imperial world. To Cutler's horror, Jace tried to raise to the occasion. We were just discussing that the people must be made to... Cutler turned furious eyes on his son, but the man in the chair cut him off. Your duty is to the Emperor alone, and all that is required of you is to submit the tithe that is due. I, Inquisitor Acosta, will make sure that you do. The people betray us, spat Cutler. There is rebellion, there is plague, there is death. We have cut ourselves off here that we might return the planet to the service of the Imperium. You admit to proceeding over a rebellion? Asked Acosta, a mischievous smile playing on his lips. No, I... Then perhaps the truth is that you preside over nothing. At this, Cutler drew himself up, red-faced and sweating. I am the head of my house, a house that has stood for generations in service of the Imperium. You will aid me and restore the dignity of the planet. I shall certainly restore the dignity of the planet, replied Acosta, but that has little to do with anything happening outside these walls. When did you last venture beyond the confines of your palace? The word hung nastily in the air, and Cutler flapped his mouth up and down ineffectively. Because, continued Acosta, they seem to be doing just fine without you. Thriving, in fact, under the stewardship of your brother, who has taken over in your absence. It's a lie, snapped Cutler, as the words stung him. Acosta rose from behind the desk, and Cutler cowered. Go, see for yourself, Acosta commanded. Begone. And Cutler turned tail and ran, leaving Jace behind him. He had not gone far when a figure loomed from the shadow. For a second, Cutler dared to hope that it might be one of his guards, but his heart sank when he saw that it was a stranger, one of Acosta's agents. There being no sense in running, he stopped and waited for the man to seize him. Instead, the stranger gestured for Cutler to pass. Go on, he said. Your people await. What trickery is this? Asked Cutler, trying to hold himself from trembling. Do you wait for me to pass so that you may shoot me in the back like the coward you are? Like the coward I am? Said the man in apparent surprise. I am not the one who is fleeing. And I am not the one who is armed, nor aided by so many comrades, retorted Cutler. There is no bravery in such an overwhelming advantage. No, indeed, said the man, but I am granting you your freedom. However, you must remember that my lord holds your son, and one of you must serve your punishment. Go, be free. We have all wagered on the choice you will make, and it is in my interest to let you leave. Head bowed and tears stinging his cheeks, Cutler turned, and, pulling against a lifetime habit of pure self-interest, he returned to his office with the agent. Acosta gave Cutler a curious look as he returned, as though acknowledging a grudging respect, but then his face hardened again. I see, he said. My lord, have mercy, begged Cutler, but Acosta gave no sign of having heard. Your only grace is that your brother may be ruler apparent, but he has not seen fit to pay the tithe either. So, because it amuses me, I will leave your son here in place to contest his new kingdom. But I warn all present here that if the tithe is not paid by one or the other, then I shall return. You will let my son live? Asked Cutler, with doubtful hope. Indeed, said Acosta, but a true man must start from nothing. At his words, his agents swarmed out from the shadows and let loose with bolter and flamer, decimating the palace around him. They fired into the walls and the roof, sending splintered wood and crumbling masonry flying. Soon a fire had kindled in the wreckage. The smell of smoke filled the ruins, mingled with the choking dust. As Cutler was grabbed and his hands were bound, he saw Acosta turning to Jace. Behold, my little lord, he said, leering, your throne of ashes. So, in other words, don't piss off the Inquisition. They gonna come get you. That was a nice little story, actually. A few nice little characters we've not been introduced to before. And, yeah, a planetary lord being shown his just and rightful place in the galaxy as, you're a worm, mate. Do as you're told or we're going to come and remove you. Pretty much how the Inquisition works. Is there only the one story? That was no. I'm kind of glad I read the other story now, even though it was a reread. Oh no, we have something. We have a little bit of history here about House Cutler. Baron Cutler is the hereditary ruler of Nova Astron 7. Although it is normally an imperial planet, in fact, its only role in humanity's great empire is to supply a tithe of soldiers to the ranks of the Astra Militarum. In return, its ancient rulers are left to act as they wish, but once they lapsed in their duty, it was only a matter of time before an agent of the Imperium would arrive to investigate the deficiency and restore the tithe. I am not reading the horror. Do you realise, Northern, do you realise how many books are in the Horus Heresy? I mean, I wouldn't mind doing the Siege of Terror, because I've not read the Siege of Terror, but I started with Horus Rising and I got about 15 or 16 books through, and the Horus Heresy had only just started. So I'm not reading all however many books. That's just way too many books. That's a lot of money to buy. I mean, I could get them on ebook, I suppose, but that's still a lot. But I wouldn't mind reading The Siege of Terror. That'll be interesting. Whether or not I can keep up with all the tones and voices that everybody has, that's a different matter. I'll probably just stick with the main characters, so probably the Primarchs and the Champions, and I have no idea how I'm going to do a voice for the Emperor of Mankind. How? My voice doesn't go deep and booming enough for that. Needed liquid. Needed liquid. As we saw this morning, we built 20 Cadian shock troopers, not 10. And once again, it gives you the option to give you the background for that unit. Usually dice rolls are needing to be picked. So, for Cadian shock troops, can I make this a little bit brighter? So potentially, yeah, there we go. Wave upon wave of soldiers charge across the battlefield in the desperate fight to save humanity from the hostile forces that surround it. Of the many who fight in service of the Imperium, some of the most respected and reliable units are Cadian shock troops, who form the core of many Astra Militarum armies. Now, we should have named one already, or at least give the background for one. I think I made them Xenos Hunters. Let's see what these ones get a choice to be. So if you want to pardon me, jeez, sorry about that. Shouldn't be doing that, no. So if you roll, and you roll a 1 or a 2, these Cadian shock troops have weathered many battles and are deeply respected by their comrades for their experience and bravery. Roll a 3 or a 4. These Cadian shock troops work in close concert with armoured vehicles and use their cover to get close to enemy positions. Ooh, hiding behind big tanks. Don't want to be there when it goes boom though. And if you get 5 or a 6, these Cadian shock troops are newly recruited and are desperate to get into the thick of battle where they can prove their skills and daring. In this case, because I only built them today, he's going to choose 5 and 6. They are fresh recruits, and they don't realise they're going to get shot and killed in the first mission they ever go on. But they're there and ready to go. That's the main thing. So, the data sheet. I think we went through the data sheet last time and it gave us the grenade launcher and plasma gun. This time it's giving us the melter gun and the flamer. Lasgun's a lasgun. It's rapid fire 1, 24 inches, hits on a 4, strength 3, no AP, 1 damage. Pretty much it's a flashlight. It is a flashlight. The flamer is actually better. Not as big a range, 12 inches. D6 attacks, so you're going to have to roll each and every time you want for how many attacks it gets. But it's an also hitting weapon, so however many attacks you get, that's how many hits you get. It's awesome. Strength 4 means he's got a chance of getting through some kind of Space Marine-ish armor or something a little bit tougher than a guardsman, and it should mow through all the light infantry, guardsmen, Eldar, Tau, all the toughness 3 stuff. But you also get a melter gun. Now it only has a 12-inch range and 1 attack, hitting on a 4, but it does have a strength of 9. Minus 4 AP, so it's pretty much stripping everything of his armor, and if you don't have an invulnerable save, you're probably not getting anything from it. And then D6 attacks. If you're within 6 inches though, it becomes D6 plus 2 because of the melter rule. Very nice indeed. Very, very nice indeed. Again, standard Cadian shock troop stats. Movement 6, toughness 3, 5 plus save. 5 plus save. So a third of the time you should save them, provided you've not got any AP. Most things have AP, unless they're really, really disposable little grunts like Cadian shock troops. Only 1 wound each. Leadership of 7, which isn't too bad. It's going to be the average you roll on 2 dice for leadership tests. But it's the OC2 per model. And if you're fielding them in 10s and 20s, That's a lot of objective control for that unit. Because a unit of 10 is going to have 20 objective OC on an objective. It's going to be hard to shift that much unless you can lay down enough firepower just to mow the unit off the objective. And if it is a large unit or two large units, you're gonna struggle unless you're putting down a lot of anti-infantry firepower. And you can't go too much anti-infantry because you don't know if they've got Ogrins or Leman Russes or Rogel Dawn battle tanks or Baneblade super heavy battle tanks. In which case that strength 3 flashlight is gonna do nothing, and they are going to just wipe out your army. So you have to have a nice balance, but you've got to take into account that if you're doing one big heavy shot against a group of 10 men, you're only killing one guy. So you need your bolter shots or your las cannon shots or your shuriken catapult shots, things like that, just to help thin these guys down. And then, Chaos Space Marines. Now, the Chaos Space Marines from Combat Patrol are painted as the Black Legion. The Black Legion are the Legion that blew up Cadia. Dropped big Blackstone Fortress into it, smashed it to pieces. That's what they did. Since the fall of Cadia, the Chaos Space Marines have rampaged across the Imperium, leaving devastation in their wake. But brave soldiers of the Astra Militarum stand ready to face them and continue the fight. In a system overrun by the enemy, the soldiers of the Astra Militarum are desperately trying to hold their ground and, where the opportunity presents, take back positions that have been seized by their enemies. Each time they are afforded a reprieve, they are met with news that another nearby planet in the system is under attack, or has fallen to enemy forces completely. Despite the forces being spread thin, the heroic troops have not given up. They will continue to fight until the last. Meanwhile, the Chaos Space Marines stormed into the system and immediately began to capture vital positions. Once entrenched, they aim to launch a greater campaign of violence and bloodshed on the rest of the system. As each planet falls, terror spreads around the region. In this climate, it becomes even easier for the Chaos Space Marines to overwhelm more worlds, pressing home their advantage and tightening their grip on the area. So this is another campaign mission, either the first, second or third, whichever one it is. To play this one, you are going to need Core Mission 1. Now this is a really simple one, so if we bring this up here, this is the deployment. So you've got the Defender's deployment zone down here, and then from the centre it's 10 inches from the very centre line to the front line. So you're only 20 inches away from each other. So if you both deploy on the front lines, you are in range of the 24-inch weapons. Just pointing that out. You've got 4 objectives, one each 6 inches from the centre towards the deployment zones, and then another 10 inches from the centre just straight across the middle. So you do get one right in front of you to go try and claim, and then battle over the others. For the Astra Militarum side, as uprisings swamp entire planets and Xenos interlopers circle, the territory held by the Astra Militarum shrinks. With darkness falling all around them, they receive reports of planets falling to chaos and a strike force inbound on their position. Undaunted, they immediately send out a patrol to confront the Chaos Space Marines and destroy their force before it can threaten their local population. And if you're playing the Chaos side, the system is in disarray, and the Chaos Space Marines have carved out enough territory for themselves to stage further attacks and gather their forces. However, some planets still hold out. One in particular catches the eyes of the Heretic Astartes, a refuge of humanity, as yet untouched by darkness. They sent out a force to establish a foothold and to send its defenders to their graves. So they're not happy to see each other then, are they? They're really not happy to see each other. Oh, we get a new scenario as well. Oh dear. Okay. With an Astra Militarum victory, the victory came at a great price, as all victories do. But it was a cost well worth paying, for once again, the mighty Astra Militarum have routed their enemies and kept the flame of the Imperium alive for another day. The local population can rest once more, knowing that their protectors will always fight to the last for their safety. However, if the guardsmen get shot to hell, which really they should, if it's a relatively balanced army, the guardsmen ain't surviving. It's going to be the hardier stuff. The Chaos Space Marines victory. The pitiful slaves of the false emperor fall before the might of the heretic Astartes. It is the will of chaos that shall be brought to the fruition here, and by the strength of their arms, and with the blessings of their dark masters, they have snatched victory from their weak and foolish enemies. Again, if it is your first mission, you will continue on to a second mission of your choosing, and against an opponent of your choosing. If it is your third victory in a row, though, you have won your campaign and you have saved the system for your faction. Which just makes it all weirder for me, because there's at least 2 loyalist factions to the Imperium that are in there, and you can make them fight. By the end of it, you can even make the 2 Chaos factions fight. It's great. But we do get a new scenario, Gaining Ground. A patrol of Cadian shock troopers have been dispatched to investigate reports of traitor activity, only to come under attack from the Xenos corrupted zealots of the Genestealer cults. The regimental standard is unfurled, and the commander barks the order, "Open fire!" So how do we play this game? How do we play this one? To play Gaining Ground, set up 2 battle mats with 3 objective markers shown on the map on the next page. Take it in turns to place a total number of 4 terrain cards. The Astra Militarum player takes 2 units of 10 Cadian shock troops and 1 command squad. The command squad must be attached to one of the Cadian shock troops. The Genestealer Cults player takes 2 units of Neophyte hybrids and 1 Magus. The Magus must be attached to one of the units of hybrids. Makes sense. Deployment. The Astra Militarum player places their units in the Astra Militarum deployment zone. Next, the Genestealer player then places their units in the Genestealer Cults deployment zone. Players roll off to decide who takes the first turn. Neither player may take any enhancements or secondary objectives in this scenario. Can I have a... Oh, nice. Oh, that artwork. That is quite nice artwork, actually. You see the command squad there holding the banner up. Commander bellowing his orders. And lots and lots and lots of guardsmen underneath there just piling on through. Taking those orders. Or did you mean... Which was the other picture? No, that was the only picture. So yeah, it must have been that picture you wanted to have a closer look at. That is a nice picture though, isn't it? The problem is Games Workshop never give credit to the artists anymore. They never give credit to the artists anymore, and in the codexes, in the rule books, even in stuff like this, the artwork is amazing. How do we win this fight? At the end of each player's command phase, the player whose turn it is scores 1 victory point for each objective marker they control. The battle ends after 4 battle rounds, and the player with the most victory points is the winner. Pretty straightforward. It is kind of... I don't know any This art style seems to be very popular at the moment. They seem to be bringing more of this slightly washed in, just more realistic tones with the actual artwork. They've gone away from the cartoony sides where you've got big daft green orcs with stupid grins on the faces. They have gone back to the stylings where it looks more real and more grim, but they've kept the colour and the feel that the modern day art's put in. If you go back really far, you're going to get a lot of black and white photos. Some of them are going to be like quite squat and out proportion compared to what the new modern art is like. So let's see, because he said they're going to show us the deployment zone on this side. One deployment zone, please, people. Oh, so we've got 2 maps, battle mats 3 and 4. That is a big deployment zone right there. So you get a full section for the Astra Militarum. The Astra Militarum section over here. 1, 2, 3 objective markers. And the Genestealer Cult's deployment zone. You do get to place 4 little bits of scenery as well, so wherever you put them, you're gonna kind of try and put them around here to give you some cover as you're moving forward to take the objectives. And those are the 3 you fight over. So if you're smart in the Astra Militarum, you're going to start mostly down here, and the Genestealer Cults are going to be up here, and then you're kind of going to merge in towards and fight over this bloody one in the middle. Regimental Standard. Oh, so we do get some abilities, even though they are only datasheet abilities. The Regimental Standard ability helps units to control objectives more easily. If the Astra Militarum Command Squad has a Veteran Guardsman model with a Regimental Standard on the battlefield, models in that unit and in units that they are attached to gain a +1 to their objective control characteristic. So you've just stuck that 5-man squad into a 10-man squad of Cadian Shock Troops. We already know the Cadian Shock Troops have an OC of 2. With that banner, that puts up to an OC 3 just for those 10 guys. That's 30. You're gonna have to put some serious bodies on the objective to take it, or you're gonna have to put out some serious firepower to remove them, because now 15 models, and 5 of them are kind of like characters, so they've got multiple wounds. You might only have 2, and the commander's probably got 3, but it's still enough to make you go, I'm gonna probably have to pump everything I've got into that unit just to whittle it down. And even then, you might only get rid of the guys with las guns and end up being left with flamers, plasma guns, power fists, and other stuff. So it could be a little bit difficult. So just for an example here, the Genestealer Cults have a combined objective control score of 13, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and I'm guessing the one guy there's somebody there with 1, which will be the Magus. Meanwhile, the Astra Militarum models have an unmodified combined objective control score of 7. Not good, they're losing the objective. However, because the unit still has its regimental standard, each of the models in that unit gains an extra +1, giving them 14, meaning that they succeed in controlling the objective over the Genestealer Cults. That's how big just one model can be with the right equipment. You're gonna lose it. He's got a banner. He goes, I got a flag. And all of a sudden, you take the objective. Kill the guy with the flag, and no, they're losing. Although looking at that, they should have more than a 7 OC. Unless it's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They should at least have an objective control of 9. And then adding another 7 on top of that. That should actually be 16, not 14. That's silly. But that's how the banner works. If you've still got the banner, you can control objectives more, because plant your flag. It's ours now. How how Britain took over most of the world. Oh, we get to learn about orders. Now, this is something I weren't sure about, because I know you can issue orders in the Astra Militarum, and each one can only issue so many. So I think each command squad can issue 2, and a regimental, like Supreme Command, can issue 3, etc. Oh no, Acadian Commander can only issue 1. Okay, I was wrong. I must be thinking about an older edition. Voice of Command. It's not a Canadian. Stop saying that, lads. Stop saying it. It's not a Canadian, is it? It's a Cadian commander. In your Cadian command squad has the officer keyword. Using the voice of command ability, they can issue orders to nearby friendly units that have the regiment keyword. In the Astra Militarum player's command phase, the Cadian commander can issue 1 order to any eligible unit within 6 inches, including the one he is attached to. Each order's effects last until the beginning of the Astra Militarum's next command phase. So they're going to give us 3, just 3, that we're going to be able to use. First one being move, move, move. In this example, the Cadian shock troops move characteristic is increased to a total of 9. Ooh, that's nice. So the actual order itself, this order allows the receiving unit to move harder and faster, giving them a chance to race towards an objective or storm an enemy position. When a unit receives this order, the Astra Militarum player can add 3 inches to the move characteristics of models in this unit. This order only affects movements based on the move characteristic. It has no effect on charge rolls. So you can go from a 6-inch move to a 9-inch move, which can be pretty big, especially if you are looking to make a charge and it doesn't say that you can't. It doesn't say you can't charge or shoot or anything afterwards. So you get extra 3-inch moves. It might put you into rapid fire range with your las guns or your plasma. It might put you in range for your melter gun or your flamer. Just having that extra 3 inches can make a bit of a difference. Or alternatively, you can use take aim. This order grants a boost to the unit's firepower and increases the chance of them hitting the foe. This is ideal when attempting to clear an objective marker and capture ground, or to simply destroy the enemies of the Emperor. When a unit receives this order, the Astra Militarum player can add 1 to the ballistic skill characteristic of this unit's ranged weapons. So whereas a guardsman will normally hit on a 4+ when he's shooting, if you use take aim, they will now hit like Space Marines. They will hit on 3s, making it much, much easier. What, move, 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 or take aim? Which one? Now then you're going to have to be a little bit more... You're going to have to say, is it take aim? We don't want to know what you're taking aim at. Or is it move, 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 get out the house? That sounds more like it, really, doesn't it? The third one, which is take cover. This order grants a unit a better chance of surviving an enemy attack or barrage. When a unit receives this order, the Astra Militarum can improve the save characteristic of models in the unit by 1 to a maximum of 3+. Remember, to improve the save characteristic, you take 1 away from it rather than adding 1. So when, as it shows there in green, normally they would have a 5+ save. If you use take cover, they then get a 4+ save. That goes from a third of the time. Oh, extra 3-inch. Should have known. Should have known. Extra 3 inches. Never had that problem, but we'll leave that for not on YouTube, shall we? So it helps them stay alive a lot more. So you got 50% chance of staying alive, and it helps negate some of the AP. If you can get them in cover as well, and then give them that take cover, that 4 becomes a 3. That's why it says to a maximum of 3+. Because if they're in cover, they get more. So we do have orders now. Move, 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 take aim, and take cover. I am gutted that we did not get first rank fire, second rank fire, or bring it down. Those, I would have been happy with those two commands. First rank fire, second rank fire gives you extra shots. So you get 2 shots out to 24 or 3 shots out to 12 with your rapid fire 1 weapon. And take it down, I think, is lethal hits against vehicles and monsters. A big difference in what they can do. Like just sheer volume of fire, or no, you're big, we're going to rely on 6s just to hit you and we're going to wound you. But as we are playing combat patrol and we're not really facing anything big. Well, I say we're not facing anything big. These bloody these hell brutes with multi-melter and big bloody fist. How are those little guys with flashlights that strength 3 supposed to do anything to this? It's toughness 8. They're gonna need, so let's say we give them take aim. So they're hitting on 3s. All right, good chance. 20 shots. Give them the rapid fire. We'll put them close. 20 shots. Strength 3s. A lot of them hit. And it's 6s to wound from there on. And there's no AP, so he's only full armor save. You're not going to take down a Hellbrute. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. He's going to shrug most of it off. Walk up to your little guys. Maybe burn them in the face with a bit of a flamer from that hand. Melt a gun them in the face with that one. And then just go to town punching skulls. And you've also got Terminators as well. Toughness 5, 2+ armor save. Them guardsmen are really outmatched. I mean, ridiculously outmatched. Which is why you have plasma guns. Do a test roll and see how... Well, I suppose I could do a test roll and see how well it goes. Where's my Hellbrute card? Let me just go find my Hellbrute card. He's in here somewhere, I know he is. And that's the Wraithlord, Farseer, Guardians, Dark Apostle, Havocs, Legionnaires. Hellbrute, there we go. So, right, let's do my setup of Imperial Guardsmen, because I've got a plasma gun and a melter gun. For the purposes of this, they are within 12 inches of the Hellbrute. They have all charged forward. So, get the big block of dice and a dice tray. So get my dice tray. And actually, make sure I get my dice tray, which is the blue one. That's not a bad idea, no. As long, just test rolls. I don't have to get all the models out and set it up. We got Theatre of the Mind. Theatre of the Mind. So, set my little dice tray up because I don't lose any dice. I do not wish to use my Rogues Den Hobbies dice because I do not have enough. I don't have enough Rogues Den Hobbies dice to actually do an Astra Militarum shooting phase. Let's just double check I've not missed anything else to make it easier for me. Goliath, Rock Rider, Neophyte Hybrids. No, so we've not had the cards yet for the Guardsmen. By the looks of it. And on Votann we've got lots of... We've got the Orc stuff. No, we've not got the thingies for the Guardsmen yet, so I'm going to have to flick back and get their rules. Just to make sure I am doing this. Right, so we're not going to give them... No. Fuck it, we're going to give him the order. We're going to give him the... You get +1 to your ballistic skill. So, a 10-man unit of guardsmen. The sergeant has a bolt pistol. There is a guy with a plasma gun. There is a guy with a melter gun, so that's 3. And the other 7 have las guns. Righty-ho. So I need, and they're within 12 inches, and there's 10 of them, so I need 20 lasgun shot. No, 7, it's 14. I need 14 lasgun shots. 1, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 lasgun shots. We also need, where is it going? Where's it going? Plasma gun. Sod it, let's supercharge it. We're going to need 2 plasma shots, which can be the blue ones. See, nice different coloured dice. This is how I like it. And 1 melter shot, which will be the, no, that doesn't look different enough. And 1 melter shot, which can be the big yellow. Alrighty then. So all of them are going to be hitting on 3s because they've been given the more effective shooting range. The plasma gun has supercharged. So this may actually show the importance of plasma guns and melter guns. So blues are the plasma guns, big yellow is the melter gun, and all the whites are flashlights. Hitting on 3s. Okay, so melter missed. 1 of the plasmas missed. Missed. So 5 of the flashlights missed. The melter missed, which was bad. That's bad for the unit. And then the plasma, 1 of the plasmas missed as well. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. So we take the ones that hit, which is just flashlights. 3, 6, 9 flashlights and 1 plasma gun. But the plasma gun is at strength 8. Ooh, it's at strength 8. Problem is, the Hellbrutes are toughness 9. So 5+, we need a 5 on the blue one, and we need 6s on all them. Okay, so if it's not a 6, they do nothing, and that needs a 5 or a 6. Okay, let's see how it goes. Wounding the Hellbrute. So the plasma did nothing, it got a 3. And out of all the lasgun shots, I'm just going to slide them all out of the way. 1 shot wounded. Okay. So the Hellbrute's got to make a save now, but a flashlight doesn't have any AP, so he gets to use his full 2+ armor save. So it's 1 dice, because that's all that got through. And let's see if he saves it, or does he go from 8 wounds to 7 wounds? And that's a 6. He made it. All them shots did naff all. Okay. Now, they've given him a Hellbrute plasma cannon on here. But I've got a multi-melter on him. Should I run the multi-melter stat line, or should I run the plasma? Yeah, exactly. Best case scenario, not a scratch. I'll run the... Oh, and I overcharged, didn't I? So did the plasma gun guy blow up? If I get a 1, the plasma guy killed himself. No, I got a 6. In this case where it says conquest like that. So he got a 6, not a 1. So he survives, he didn't blow himself up. So whatever I'm running, in which case it's going to be the multi-melter and a flamer. So the flamer is D6 shots. 1 automatic hit. So I'll just pop that there for a moment and move all them out of the way because I don't think I'm going to need them. Because is it a heavy flamer or is it just a flamer? Oh dear. I'm pretty sure it's just a standard flamer. I've just got to try and find someone with the standard flamer loadout and rules. Oh, there's a chaplain. No, that's a Reaper Alpha auto cannon. The only way to put flamers on there. That's all Votan. That's all scenery. That's a lot of scenery. And Eldar rules. Why has he not got a flamer? Why can I never get a flamer option when I need it? Oh, it's only hitting once, but I need to know if it's strength 5 minus 1 AP or strength 4 no AP. If it's a standard flamer, I'm pretty sure it's strength 4 no AP. Which doesn't really help the Guardsmen because they had the +1 to hit. And then 2 shots from the multi-melter, which is in half range because the Guardsmen were in half range. And that's 3s to hit. 1 hits, 1 doesn't. Okay, so the blue needs 2s to wound. And this yellow needs 3s. The flamer does nothing, but the multi-melter wounds. Now the problem is it's got -3 AP. So that takes your save from a 5+ to a 6+ to a 7+ to an 8+, which is damn near impossible to get. That poor guardsman does not survive. One guardsman just gets into nothing because he takes D6. He takes 5 damage. He's only got 1 wound. And he takes 5. So just from its shooting, which is not what the Hellbrute's good at. The Hellbrute's rather going and boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it does nothing. It does 1. He pops 1 guardsman. So even if he just does that for a couple of rounds and then eventually gets running into them. So I've got Hellbrute Fist, which I believe is strength 10. And he's also 5 attacks. So Hellbrute's going to charge because the guardsmen were stupid enough to charge him. Hellbrute's charged, got into close combat. And now he's going to swing 5 attacks. Hitting on 4s. 2 missed. Wounding on 2s, so or should I say straight out, flat out, killing on 2s. Yeah, that's another 3 dead. So he just ran up and punched the other 3. So that's 4 dead. And even if, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 9 attacks from the actual guardsman, and the sergeant, who has a chainsaw. If I can find 4 of the same colour. I've already got 1 yellow one out, I believe. Okay, maybe not. I'll go pick that up in a minute. And the sergeant has 4 attacks from his chainsaw. So that's 9 attacks from the guardsman hitting with just kitchen knives. And a chainsaw coming from the commander. Now these all hit on 4s as well. That was better. So that missed, that missed, that missed, and that missed. the order only applies to shooting attacks, so doesn't affect these. But they did all hit. Well, a lot of them hit anyway. That's 6 normal kitchen knives and 3 chainsaws. Now, the problem is these all only wound on 6s, and there is no AP. So we need 6s. Come on, 6s. We have enough to technically kill it. None. Not a single one wounded it. So the Death Dread popped 4. The unit of 10 guardsmen just had to stand there and take it because they couldn't do anything else. The chainsaw did nothing. The kitchen knives did nothing. Blood for the blood god indeed, and that dreadnought, that Hellbrute is in his element because he's just making people turn into red mist. I have some quite nice selection of dice, don't I? But essentially, this is why guardsmen should not go up against Hellbrutes. And it's why they're meat for the grinder. They do practically nothing against anything heavier than them. I mean, you've got a chance against Space Marines because you're wounded on 5s, not 6s. Sometimes you might even be wounded on 4s if you're hitting on strength of 4. But majority of the time, no. You're not doing nothing to them. Against Eldari, on the other hand, they're only toughness 3. You've got a better chance for them. As I said, when I did point out when I was choosing these guys and marking out what type of unit they are, I did say that these Cadian shock troops are newly recruited and are desperate to get into the thick of battle where they can prove their skill and daring, not realizing they ain't gonna make it. And just in case people wonder, do I have any other slight problems with this game? Yes, I have another small problem. It's not just collecting the models, it's also the sheer amount of dice. Oh, that's not supposed to be there. That's a sneak attack dice. Have I got any more sneak attack dice in there? No, I do have a few of the you older players. I do have a few scatter dice in there. Should have some white ones as well. I did see one fall in a minute ago. Yeah, there we go. One of the big white ones. But lots. Oh, I've even got the ordnance dice there. Wow, I forgot about ordnance dice. But yeah, if you're gonna play this game, you need a rather large collection of dice of various different colours, shapes, sizes, and in some cases functions. But that needs to go back into the sneak attack dice bag because that's for my rogues who are performing sneak attacks. So that goes in the D&D section. These are just Warhammer dice, by the way. These are not D&D dice. That's why they're all in this tub. Oh yeah, if I do that and I do that, then I should be able to drop them all and scoop them all in. Dice for the dice god. I know there's people out there with more dice than this, and I know I have lost quite a lot over time. I think I've got about another 6 in a shelf in there, and about another 20 at the moment at my dad's. So put them ones back in, and I need to go find my sneak attack dice because I don't know why that one's missing. That's not good. Tea. Oh, thank you. Cheers, Buzzard. Thank you. You've been nap trapped. It's alright. Alright, let me just go find the bag for this one to go into because I need to put it somewhere. That's the big dice. That's the circle D6. That's Sparkle's set of red dice. What's in the back there? Nope, nope, nope. I can't remember which drawer my... I hope they're in this one. Because not only do I have all those D6 dice, I also have... No, I have 13 sets of D&D dice now. 13 sets of D&D dice. That's... What's 13 times 7? A lot. A lot is what it is. Right, so that's my bag of Dungeons and Dragons dice that aren't in boxes. My 2 sets are in... Sorry, my 3 sets are all in boxes. I have the shared set with Sparkles, which... Graham, thank you. I do like those dice. I'm going to have to see what they're like when they're next to my zinc dice. 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that all 5 of them? Yeah, it's all 5 of them, plus all the others we've got scattered on the dice. But as I said, I have a specific set of D6 for rogue sneak attacks. Which is really frustrating because the 5s, you have to look out for the little... So we bring the 5 up, you have to look out for that little thing on the corner there. Because 5s and 2s look very similar. And it's that little white thing that tells you which way around it goes. But they're alright. Look, I've got all my sneak attack dice back now. I'm not sure where all my D&D sets are. I mean, I've got 5 here, and I know there's 2 over there, and there's another one for 5, 6, 7, 8. I know there's at least 8 that I can put my hands on. 9 and 10 if I can find my tin, and then my daughter's dice as well. Lots and lots of dice. Now this is I've finished essentially regarding the magazine for today, but there is a bit of a... I might as well do a bit of a spoiler. Tomorrow I will be starting work on the Orc stage. Now I won't be starting work on the actual stage itself until the speaker system arrives, but I will be starting work on the band. Now I've got to find a squig first for my kick drum. But in the meantime, while I am looking for squigs, I have decided that this chappy here is gonna be the drummer. And if I can get someone, and they just... In fact, I'm going to open this because I need to see the sprues. I need to see what weapons I can convert into musical instruments and which one I could potentially use for a microphone stand. So while I'm waiting for Buzzard to come back for having his brew, because I have a habit of disappearing when he goes for a brew, apparently. He goes for a brew and then I thank you everybody. Yeah, apparently I have that habit. So let's pop this Oryx Brutes box open. This is Age of Sigmar. Ooh, a skull. How am I going to do a skull guitar? Bear in mind, this is going to be Orc built. This is going to be Orc built, so it's not necessarily going to be as easy to make it as a skull. A skull guitar. Let's see what they give us. Holy crap, they give us some big ass bases. Those are 40mm bases. Oh shit, that's big. Okay. Oh wow, some of these weapons are huge. Some of these weapons are huge. But some of them can make very nice... It's like, I want to make that into the microphone. But obviously I want him to hold it the wrong way round. He's an orc at the end of the day. Have 2 drumsticks. They'll do good as drumsticks, I think. Have lots of shouty arc bits and do I think I can turn this into a guitar, or am I gonna have to go more along the lines of here and put like shooters in the middle and other stuff at the end, or do I have anything more fitting on one of the other sprues? Well, I do have a couple of one-handers that can be put on, so they could make for some very, very nice. What do you call a guitar? What's another name for a guitar? It's an axe. Oh, that looks beautiful. But so does being able to top it with that. So if I could get that piece, so if I could take that piece and kind of extend it into one of those to make, that starts looking good. So if I can take that axe and extend it with a shaft. Let's see, is it the same hand? That's a left hand. That's a right hand. Oh, so I should be able to extend that axe with that. Strap a couple of shooters to the bottom of it. Maybe a flamer or 2. Just a couple of strings, maybe some kind of fret hole there. And that'll make a pretty damn good guitar. And as I said, I do want the guy with the 2 things waving his arms up in the air. I want him to be the drummer, which does mean I've got to go find my squig somewhere, and I'm not sure where that is. I did have a bunch of squigs. I remember having squigs, and I don't just mean squig riders, I mean actual squigs. And I've got squig riders. I've found them, so if at a push, I can steal a squig rider, a squig from a squig rider. But I don't know where the actual squigs are. Although I did forget about one D&D dice, which is of course this one. Ooh, I got a 10. See? Where's the D20 side? Where's the D20? Oh, there's the D20 side. So wherever it lands on that white thing. So forget the red ones. He's going to point at the white one. It'd take a while though. And that is a just about 19. That's a cool ass dice, I've got to say. But he's not mine. That one sparkles. That one sparkles. His dice. So tomorrow I will be starting on the band, essentially. And then eventually... when is my thingy due to arrive? When is it due? I know it's not too far away. Let's have a look at the orders. Track package. See all updates. It has arrived in Great Britain. It has arrived at the carrier facility. Problem is, I know it's getting delivered by Every, and it's due to arrive somewhere between the 16th and 21st of February. So I've got a lot of stuff to do in the meantime. Probably too much. That was not a 4, that was a 19. That was definitely a 19. Watch, I mean, I'm going to look it back. And it's only just over the line for the 19. The amount of times it lands on the bloody 9 is a pain. is a real pain. So that is my plan for tomorrow evening, is to start building up the band. Now, I've got an idea for a guitar player, I've got an idea for a drummer, and of course the singer already came with it, which is... whoever put the singer? I've put the singer somewhere and I can't remember where I've put him. Yeah, with every little bit of my name. The good thing is my roofs are like weird. So if he tries to throw it up on my neighbour's roof, it is going to just come crashing back down again. The problem is it's perspex and a lot of electronics in there, so it's not good. They're not put together, which has an advantage. I've got to do all that myself, including getting a soldering iron. Oh, there he is. I forgot I moved the box. It's over here somewhere. It's a good competent for evening. Are you saying that I'm good for ASMR then, Norman? Is that what you're telling me? Telling me I'm going to bore you to sleep? You're not going to be the first person to say it, so let's face it. So let's have a look at what I've got to go towards this next upcoming project, because Buzzard's due back in a minute and I don't want to disappear again. So we have plenty of glyphs and spiky bits to go along the stage, as well as a few other things, plates and whatnots. Now I was going to use this guy as a drummer, but I might just use the heads, because they're kind of mech heads. And I have also managed to save this from the Stomper. Now that's going to look nice on the stage. I've got a feeling that's going to look pretty nice on the stage at the front. Now I did keep all the speaker sections and the light sections, as well as a lot more little glyphs. Wow, I did keep a lot of glyphs actually, didn't I? Look at all these. There's loads of them. Spanner Boy ones, Arky ones. General Teeth, another art. So I've managed to find, scrape and scramble together a lot of art glyphs to help decorate this. Ah, there he is. There is the singer. So this guy I want to have, even though he's going to be held the wrong way round, and I'm aware of that, it's going to be done on purpose. Even though it's going to be held the wrong way round, I do want that to essentially be the microphone. Ah, right, okay, fair enough. Look, I don't take offense by it. Numerous people have told me in the past that I'm quite good for ASMR, so I'm not going to take offense by it, don't worry. But that's going to be the microphone that hopefully is going to have enough room to pop out at the end of his hand as he's screaming into it. And I've already said I'm going to be making lots and lots of modifications to some of these to make guitar players and drummers. But I've also got to put them together as well. And they are Age of Sigmar orcs, so they should go nicely with him, who was a Blood Bowl orc. Evelyn, hello, welcome in, welcome in. I finished Combat Patrol today, but I'm starting to talk about tomorrow night's projects, because it's a new project tomorrow. I've finished the Magical World of Sparkles and Oak, the making and crafting and painting side. I have not done the stat sheet sides. That takes a whole heap of time, because it's mostly custom. There is not many foxes as character races, I was lucky I managed to find a hair folk for Ali. And kind of turtles for the people like with shell, so Sparkles, Oak, the yellow turtle, those type of characters. So in fact I should put this back in here because this is all for that project. Now, along with that I did keep things like the extra speaker systems and the big speaker pots to go along the stage. So I'm starting to prep quite a lot apart from the electronics. I've not got, well, I say apart from the electronics. I do have, of course, the flashy light electronics, which is going to be the rigging and going through various other places like the eyes. So if I can, if I'm lucky enough and I can manage it, I can get one coming through there and one coming through there, and then hopefully then the Arky face has glowy lights coming out of it as well. So I do have big plans for this. I do have some very big plans for this. And fingers crossed, they actually work. But that is my idea at the moment. Lots and lots of lights. Lots of brightness. And at least a 3-man band. Not including any Gretchens. No, Gretchens could work out being something else. So that is my plan to start for tomorrow night. Let's put him back in there and move that. So I'm gonna hopefully I'm gonna start on the drummer, not the drummer. I'm gonna start with the singer, and hopefully I'll get to actually work on the drummer. But I'm gonna have to go looking for the squig that I want, because the squig that I want is the squig that's eating a Gretchen, and that's gonna be the kick drum. A few helmets for like toms, and maybe if I can find like a Tau helmet or something for a snare, and then some Eldar helmets and maybe a Necron helmet for the crash and the hi-hats. Or even, let's have a quick look on this Imperial Guards booth. Do we have any empty helmets? I didn't even think to look for these. Do we have any empty? Yeah, there we go. I've got an empty Guardsman helmet right there. So that can be a crash, can't it? And obviously I can take bits off this, so like sandbags and stuff to help hold things in place. Although I am tempted to keep tactical sandbags because they are nice. But I can use them to help like prop up next to the squig to try and keep it in place. Almost like they've done that rather than me just using it to stop it rolling around, because it won't be on a base anymore. Are there any good, and obviously I can now go through this and go, are there any good weapons I can pillage? For instance, the grenade launcher or the flamer to go onto the guitar. So many ideas, so little time to do it in. I want to get this finished by October. I really want to get this finished by October, because then, if I do get it finished by October, Sparkle says there's a possibility that I might be able to put it on the DJ set. So that's going on a little in front of the DJ. I'm getting far too excited over this, aren't I? Can you blame me? I spent a year building the magical world of Sparkles and Oak. I think I got goodish at doing certain things. And now I get to convert it into, now I get to start building an Orc stage. And as I said, it does also get a dance floor. Now where have I put the dance floor? Because it is a very specific dance floor. This is going to be the dance floor. So those of you who recognise this, it's the Sky Shield landing pad. So the main part of the stage is going to go along there. Then it's going to be a speaker there. and a speaker there. It might actually come onto here just to help it, and then I start putting glyphs and stuff on, building up rigging all over the place, and then I've got a nice big base to put it on. That way I can put arcs on it so that I can be going rah 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 and taking part. So that is another one. I mean, I could flip it up. Sorry. I mean, that side's had some paint on it, as you can see. There's silver, there's gold, there's green. However, the underside's not been touched as much. So if I just flip it over, it gives me a little bit more customization as to what I can do with it and how to cover up some of these aquillas and things. I'm going to have to look into that once I get the electronics, though, because they come with the boxes for it to go on. However, as I said, I have finished the combat patrol for this evening. Next week, what do we get next week? I didn't cover the next week, did I? Aha, no, I didn't cover what we get next week. So next week is the start of another double issue. Now this time we get the field ordnance batteries. These are the heavier versions of the heavy weapons teams. These come in 2s, not 3s, and they have some. Basically, they have some big ass guns, very big ass guns. So in the first issue, we're going to get Bonds of Honor, and I can't actually read what that one says, but it's going to be the Field Ordnance Battery Part 1. And in the second issue, the week after, we're going to get Humanities Herds? Oh, Heroes, Humanities Heroes, and a new scenario in the second part, as well as the second part of the Field Ordnance team. I've now figured out where my list of other stuff is, so I can bring that up now. So that's 75 and 76 over the next 2 weeks. After that, it is going to be... That is not where my file manager is. There is my file manager. Let's just remove those conversations out of the way for the time being. Is it in downloads? Should be in downloads. I would imagine it's in... Nope, it's not in downloads. Messenger? Nope, not in Messenger. Camera? I don't think it's gonna be in camera. Because I didn't take the picture of it, did I? I'm just trying to find out what's coming in the future issues after the 2 Field Ordnance batteries, because I think after those we actually go back to the Genestealer cults. Whee! No, it's not in camera. Well, I could do with deleting a few of those. Pictures? Just general pictures? No. What's under artwork? Oh, that's from albums. Screenshots. That's a good place to look, isn't it? There we go. It's under screenshots. Opening photos, please. Right, so we are currently at... We've just done the 2 shock troops. We're about to get the Field Ordnance battery. Oh, then we do get a heavy weapon squads. Then we go back to the... It says World Eaters, but it's not. The Genestealer cults. So the guys on the little dirt bikes. We get the Atalan Jackals, and then we get the Armoured Sentinel. After that, it is all World Eaters. We get a Lord on Juggernaut, which you can build as a Lord Invocatus if you wish. And he's due... When's he due? He's due March. And then April, it's Jackals and Khorne Berserkers. In fact, is it Khorne Berserkers? April going into the start of May is Jackals and Khorne Berserkers. And finally we get a Mauler Fiend going at the 20th of May. And that will be the end. That will be the end of the combat patrol. So May is when we're looking to finish the Wednesday streams. I don't think I'll be replacing them with anything at the moment. I'll just go back to the Mondays and the Thursdays. Not gonna lie, these Wednesdays are taking it out on me a little bit, especially when I've got to try and plan for tomorrow as well. But we're not getting too far off from the end now. So we've had Cadian shock troops. We're gonna get a field ordnance batteries, heavy weapons, and an armored sentinel to finish off the Imperial Guard. Athlon Jackals to finish off the Genestealer cults, which are still in the box, ready and waiting if anybody wants them. And then we start moving into finishing the World Eaters. I can't wait for that, because that's going to bring my World Eater army way up to scratch, especially with Angry Ron, who's actually in a very secure box now. And all the other stuff which is in there, obviously. The Hellbrute, the Terminators, the amazing Secret Santa gift which I got as a Slaughterbound. I mean, look at that. That is something else, that, isn't it? I didn't paint it. I didn't put this together. This was a Secret Santa gift, but that just looks amazing. And there you go with my Proxy 8 rounds as well. So I've already got a decent start to the World Eaters. I need the rest of it to come in with the magazine just to finish off the 2,000 points. And I need to convert a couple of Lord Executioners. Which shouldn't be difficult, because I have a few spare Chaos Marines scattered around. Some just require a bit of a weapon change, so take his bolter out, give him chainsword and bolt pistol, or chainsword and plasma pistol, as some of them can take. Ooh, I missed the rocket launcher, Mr. Launcher thing. That fell out of the bag, and I don't think he should have been. So yeah, we are getting to the end of it now. I can't wait until I end up with my full 2,000 points worth of World Eaters. I can go smashy with Angry Ron. I'm looking forward to that. What's all this again? That is bases, heads, and close combat weapons. That is... Ooh, that's tiny D&D animals. That's something else. And those are the jetpack things for the Inceptors. I do remember what I've got, I just can't remember where it is. So I'm going to have to go look for a squig now. This is not going to be fun, because I've got no bleeding idea where he is. I mean, I've got a rough idea he's in that 5'7" pile of models that I've got in the other room. But which of the boxes? Your guess is as good as mine. So I will leave you all for this evening. Thank you very much for turning up. Evelyn, I'm so sorry again you've managed to come towards the end. I'm going to have to start timing these to either run a bit longer or start a bit later, I think. But again, thank you everybody for coming to see me. If you've... Yes, I said tiny D&D animals. I said tiny D&D animals. I'm not getting them out again because these bunnies and dogs and all the wolves and things. There's a few. When I next get on to doing some D&D stuff, I'll probably incorporate them into it. But for now, it's going to be the Orc stage. That's going to be the one that takes me through all the way up to October. So yes, thank you for coming to see me. If you want to hit that subscribe and you haven't already, or you want to hit a like or leave a comment because you've come in and watch this back, please feel free. I encourage the engagement. It's part of the therapy. You remind me to show you tomorrow. I can... Oh no, you're not on... Oh yeah, you're on Discord. I can just post them on Discord, I suppose. Put them out and go... Animals! And I'll just put them in Discord. They'll make it so much easier. So yeah, please, if you want to do all the rest of the stuff that the YouTube algorithm likes, so that more people can come and join us and enter this weird and wonderful manic world that I've managed to start building up, please feel free, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you so much, and I will see you all tomorrow at about 9:30 p.m. UK time. I'm not sure what time that is now for you, in wherever you are in the world. To just give you an example, now it is 11:30 in the evening, so I'll be starting 2 hours earlier than this. Until then, please all drive safe, and